Hello. I trust everyone is doing well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Um, I want to continue our conversation that we've been having on stress control. Thus far, we spoke about a few things. One, that stress is not an issue. Rather, the cause of stress is our issue, and that's what we should focus on. Two, we must identify the source of stress so that we can pinpoint it and deal with it and remove it. And three, that we have to take responsibility for our actions, the things that we think, feel, say, and those actions which will include how we respond to the causes of stress. So whatever the source of stress may be, we'll find that it's either in the past or in the future, meaning the things that we are so-called stressing about are either things that happened in the past or things that will happen in the future. I mean, most of our time and maybe even our lives is spent thinking and worrying about things that happened in the past and things that will happen in the future. I mean, there's absolutely no reason or nothing wrong with thinking about either the past or the future, but it becomes a problem when it leads to worrying, that we consistently find things to worry us, either that happened in the past or that will happen in the future. So how can we stop this worrying? And that's what we're going to talk about, because that's step 2 in controlling our stress, or in stress control. And it's step 2, but I'm just going to talk about today, how can we stop worrying about the past? You know, the beautiful thing about the past is that it's in the past, and really we can't control it. It's gone, done. We can't undo what has happened in the past. However, you notice that I said that we can't undo, but I didn't say that we can't fix, right? Because we can fix some of the things that has happened in the past, but we just can't undo it. What's done is done, and now what? What do we do? If we find that there is something in our past that we can't fix, meaning it's not something that we had initiated, we did. For example, I had a young man that came to speak to me, and he apparently suffers from anxiety, and he thought it was stress, that he considered himself to always be stressed out, and he couldn't understand why he was always so stressed, why he was always so nervous, indecisive. It seemed that he lacked confidence. So we started to talk, and in the end, what came out was the experience that he had as a child. His father was very abusive, physically abusive, and verbally abusive as well. He held on to those memories, and it appears that every time that he wanted to do something, he would relive those moments to where his father was either hitting him or verbally abusing him. He couldn't make a decision, and he thought that this is what he thought it was him as an individual, but in actuality it wasn't. It was just that memory. It was haunting him, and he was reliving those moments, and it was as if his father was always sitting with him, hitting him, and verbally abusing him. So when we realized that was an issue for him. That was what was causing his stress. He started to deal with it. And he came back to me several, not even weeks, maybe 1 week later, and he thanked me. He said, "You know what?" He said, I'm starting to let it go, to release it slowly. Of course, it's not easy for someone to just remove a bad memory or a bad experience because it's emotionally connected. So he was dealing. He started to deal with it. The most important thing is that he was able to identify it, and he was able to start the process of healing, because no longer was he blaming himself and things that he thought might have been attributed to himself, but he realized that these things were attributed to his experience with his father, and now he has to let those things go. When something from your past comes into your mind, I mean, take a moment and just be patient. Don't act immediately, but just think. Just think about what's happening. If it's something that you can control, or if it's something that you can fix, go back and fix it. And if it's something that you can't fix, then just let it go. Leave the past where the past is. Leave the past where it belongs. Okay, so now that you decide that it's something that it's in your past that you can fix, but it's going to require for you to have some courage. So you'll need to pray. You'll need to pray for strength and for courage in order to go back and to fix whatever it is that you have done. And once you do that, you'll find that you're no longer going to feel that anxiety, that feeling as if something is hanging over your head, waiting to drop on you, because you've let it go, or you have dealt with your issue. You went back and you fixed it. For example, you went back and you apologized to someone that you might have offended, as opposed to living with that day in and day out. You might have done something wrong to someone. That person might not forgive you, but you'll be able to forgive yourself once you go to them and you talk to them and you said, "Listen, guy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that." And you'll be able to move on after that, because you will be able to at least forgive yourself, because you went to that person, you asked him to forgive you, you confessed to him that, "Look, what I did was not correct, and I apologize for that." And once you do that, you will feel a whole lot better, and that will definitely alleviate the stressing feeling that you might be feeling. So that's pretty much what I want to shed light on today, is dealing with the issues, the source of stress that resides in our past, and how we can deal with it so that it doesn't affect our present and future situations. Again, thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see and hear from you guys as usual, and thank you very much.